English Grammar. Complete Grammar for All Purposes. By PRAVIN KENDALE. Auxiliary verb / helping verb. Auxiliary verbs are also called as helping verbs. They help the verb in changing mood, voice or tense of the sentence. Auxiliary verbs are classified into the two parts. A primary helping verb equals. The auxiliary verbs which work as helping verbs as well as main verbs are called as primary verbs. They change their forms according to the person and number of the subject. Following are the different primary helping verbs. Forms of to be equals am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Forms of to have equals have, has, had. Forms of to do equals do, does, did. They are used as helping verbs, as main verbs, in the absence of main verb, in changing tenses of the main verbs, in making imperative / interrogative / negative sentences, in different forms for different tenses. Forms of to be working as main verbs / principal verbs. A. He is 72 kilos, denoting height / weight / size. B. It is 9 o'clock, denoting date / time. C. It is very cold today, denoting weather. D. I am 32, denoting age. E. They are angry, denoting physical / mental situation. F. She is a teacher, denoting existence, profession, location, quality equals linking verb. G. Be bold, denoting command or request. Forms of to have working as main verbs / principal verbs. A. He has a new bike, denoting possession. B. She has 3 sisters, denoting relationship / illness / experience. C. They are having a grand show, denoting progressive tense. D. I don't have tea or coffee, denoting feelings of senses. E. They have been to Pun, denoting the feeling of going or visiting. Forms of to do working as main verbs / principal verbs. A. He does it, denoting performance. B. She is doing her homework, denoting continuous form. Forms of to be working as auxiliary verbs. A. To form continuous tenses. For example, he is playing cricket, present continuous tense. She was reading a novel, past continuous tense. They are asking questions, present continuous tense. B. To form passive voice. For example, I am loved by all. He was appointed CEO. She is allowed to remain absent. C. With infinitive. For example, he is to address a meeting, plan. He is to stay here until you come back, order, instruction, must, has to. She was to go to America, action must happen in past, but whether it takes place in past is not known exactly. They are about to return from school, with about. D. Used in the past tense with the perfect infinitive to indicate an arrangement that was made but not carried out. For example, they were to have been married last month but had to postpone the marriage until June. Forms of to have working as auxiliary verbs. A. To make present perfect tense. For example, we have created a new structure. B. To make past perfect tense. For example, they had asked questions. C. To make future perfect tense. For example, he will have completed his work. D. In the sense of if. For example, had you told us we would have helped you. E. With infinitive to denote obligation or the meaning of must. For example, we have to work in farm. I had to be in the temple before 7 p.m. F. When have is used as a main verb with have as a helping verb, then the main verb have is used in the sense to take, to enjoy, to get, to receive, to experience, to eat, to drink. For example, he has had his dinner in time. G. Have and object and past participle denotes to get the work done by another person. For example, I had my eyes tested. H. To form perfect infinitive. For example, to have broken, to have been broken, to have been breaking. I to form perfect participle. For example, having told, having been told. J to form perfect gerund. For example, having told, having been told. Forms of to do working as auxiliary verbs. A to form negative in simple present and simple past. For example, she does not read my books. They did not ask him questions. B to form questions in simple present and simple past. For example, does he speak in English? Did they work here? Do you want money? C to emphasize. For example, do come to my residence. Do attend the meeting. D to avoid repetition of main verb in short answer. For example, she plays chess very well. So does he. E to denote agreement. For example, do you write? Yes, I do. F to denote disagreement. For example, did he throw stones? No, he didn't. B secondary helping verb / modal auxiliary / modal / defective verb. The helping verbs which can work as helping verbs only and never as main verbs, since they don't have their own meanings and help in expressing feelings like possibility, compulsion, expectation, hopes, imagination, are called as modal auxiliaries or modals. Following are the different modal auxiliary verbs. Shall, should, will, would, can, could, may, might, must, ought to, need, dare, used to. Rules regarding uses of modals. A modals are never used alone, they are always used with a principal verb. B modals must be followed by a root / first form of the verb without to. C modals don't have meanings of their own, but their presence change meaning of the sentence. D modals do not change according to the number and person of the subject. E modals are used with all the persons in the same form, except shall / will equals shall is used with I and we will is used with remaining nouns and pronouns. Uses of modals. A shall. Shall is used to show different feelings such as proposal / suggestion / offer / request / promise / threat. Note, shall should be used with I / we only, first person only. A to express future. For example, I shall go to Nagpur tomorrow with my uncle. Note equals to show certainty, will is used in place of shall. B to express proposal. For example, shall we play? C to express offer. For example, shall I lock the door? D to express suggestion. For example, shall we watch a movie tonight? E to express request. For example, shall we go out? F to express promise. For example, you shall have a holiday tomorrow. G to express threat equals command equals determination equals used with second / third person equals. For example, you shall do as I tell. You shall not go. She shall be dismissed for her blunders. B should equals suggestion / advice. Should is used in following ways. A is past tense of shall. For example, I said I shall ask a question. I said that I should ask a question. B to denote duty or moral obligation. For example, you should study hard. You should be loyal to your parents. C in the sense of advice. For example, you should join Z Club to achieve success. D to denote unreal or imaginary conditions. For example, if I were you, I should not accept her marriage proposal. If I were you, I should work hard for getting success. E to denote incompletion of an action in past. For example, she should have sent the gifts, but she didn't send it. If you had worked hard, you should have achieved success. F after lest. For example, walk fast lest you should miss the train. Study hard lest you should fail. G to talk about what is right, appropriate, especially when criticizing somebody's actions. For example, children should consult their parents before taking any decision. H to talk about expecting something is true or will happen. For example, there should be less traffic in the afternoon. I to talk about something that was expected has not happened. For example, students should come now, it's 5 p.m. their batch time. J to talk about reference to a possible event or situation. For example, if you should get invitation, we'll go together. K to talk about something is suggested or arranged. For example, father told me that I should take a morning walk regularly. L to talk about describing feelings. For example, I'm a bit shocked that they should behave with me in this way. M telling somebody that something would amuse or surprise them if they saw or experienced it. For example, you should have seen his face when he was caught red-handed. N to talk about describing what you would do if STH else happened first. For example, I should stop running the classes if I were not able to teach better than anyone else. C will. A denotes future tense. For example, he will play cricket tomorrow. B with first person will is used to denote promise, intention, willingness and threat. For example, I will teach you a lesson, threat. I will certainly help you, promise. I will do it without any hesitation, intention. C will you is used to show the polite request or invitation. For example, will you shut the door? Will you have some more sugar in coffee? D will with third person denotes any natural thing. For example, accidents will happen. Boys will be boys. E to denote prediction equals to denote probability. We can use will with all the persons. For example, it will rain tomorrow. She will be traveling by this time on coming Sunday. F to talk about a decision that is taken while talking. For example, I'll go to the temple after this batch. We will celebrate conclusion of our course on April 14th. G showing that SB is willing to do something. For example, she will call you if you wish so. They won't give us admission in their college after this quarrel with them. H to talk about asking somebody to do something. For example, Pyle will cook food for next 10 days. Summit you will buy vegetables for evening food. I to talk about ordering SB to do STH. For example, will you keep quiet? Will you give me that file? J to talk about what is generally true. For example, man will not live without water. Batteries will need distilled water. D would. A to express willingness. For example, they said they would not attend the program. She said she would be ready to marry him at any cost. B is the past tense of will in indirect speech. For example, the manager said that the hotel would be closed on Sunday. She said she would participate in the competition. C to express a discontinued habit in past or a customary action in the past. For example, I would work in farm in the morning in my childhood. She would swim daily. D to express a wish. For example, I would like to become the Prime Minister of India. She would like to buy some new dresses. E would rather express his choice or preference. For example, he would rather die than marry her. I would rather become a third-class owner than a first-class servant. F to ask polite questions. For example, would you please call doctor? Would you mind lending me your bike for some time? G after wish equals to talk about what you want to happen. For example, I wish I would know her address. I wish she would study hard. H with verbs like love, hate, prefer and care. For example, I would like to play some roles in movies. I would love to live with her. I would prefer to launch my own business. Would you care to watch G.I. Joe with me? I would hate to work after dinner. I to express polite requests offers. For example, would you mind accompanying with him? Would you please bring me glass of water? J to express improbable condition or impossible condition in the main clause when subordinate clause has if in it. For example, if I were a god I would behave similar to him. If I were a king I would marry every year. K to express probability. For example, that would be the postman. After him that would be my friend. L to express future in past. For example, he told me that he would be back on Sunday. She said that she would talk with her father. M in order to suggest or advise. For example, if I were you I would not entertain him. If I were at your place I would buy it immediately. N in order to express courtesy or polite behavior. For example, I would be pleased to inform you about my marriage. We would be delighted with your presence in it. O to talk about action or event that did not happen because st else did not happen first. For example, if I had taken commerce in 11th STD I would have become a CA. Had you been in India we would have played Holi together. P to talk about reason of doing STH. For example, citizens keep the doors closed so that thieves would not enter the house. I awoke for the whole night so that I would complete my books before the sunrise. Q to talk about giving opinions that you are not certain about. Use equals imagine say think. For example, I would say she will not come. I would imagine you are going to fail. I would think he will not attend our party. R to talk about asking SB politely to do STH. For example, would you take a chair for me also? Would you please close the door? Would you lend me some cash? S behavior that you think is typical. For example, opposition parties would hold government responsible for all the bad things. People would accept any salary in the time of recession. T to describe somebody who hopes to be the type of person mentioned. For example, Shruti is my would-be wife. I am your would-be king. E can equals ability and capacity. A to denote ability, power and capacity. For example, she can sing a song. He can punish you. Can you imagine? B cannot denotes prohibition. For example, you cannot smoke in the public places. You cannot walk barefooted in sunny days. C to denote suggestion. For example, I can take my friends along if needed. We can also contribute in this fund. We can take help of police officers. D for saying that somebody must do something usually when you are angry. For example, you can follow my instructions or leave the place. Workers can fall in line or they will be fired. You can refund my money or face the lawsuit. E for saying that you do not like something and are unwilling to accept it. For example, I can't be doing with the girls who are always wandering on the road. My child can't be doing with unknown people. Our teacher can't be doing with disobedient students. F to get permission. For example, can I come in, sir? Can I speak loudly? G to denote request. For example, can you help me? Can you meet me tomorrow? H can be replaced with to be able to. For example, I can play cricket. I am able to play cricket. I can is used to denote possibility. For example, it can happen to anybody. He can reach anytime soon. J to denote order. For example, After the class you can go to home directly. K to denote offer. For example, can I open the door? Can I make tea for you? L sometimes can in the question denotes negative meaning. For example, can this be real? Means equals this can't be real. M to denote knowing that something is not true. For example, Mona can't have studied during Ganesh festival. Government can't fulfill all their promises. N to denote uncertain possibility in past. For example, he can have repaid her money, it is possible but not certain that he repaid her money. O to denote right. For example, if you are an executive engineer you can sanction the contract to the limit of 1 crore. F could. A is the past of can. For example, she said that she could do that easily. He told me that I could use his car. B could can be replaced with was/were and able to. For example, I could do it immediately. I was able to do it immediately. C could have and past participle means though one had ability, power, capacity in the past the work was not completed. For example, Sachin could have scored 100 centuries in one day cricket, but he couldn't score it. Monica could have reached the class in the morning only. D for asking if you can do something. For example, could I use your bike for a while? Could he smoke here? Could we park our car in front of your shop? E politely asking somebody to do something for you. For example, could you take care of our home in our absence? Could you please water our plant today? Could you babysit for a day? F to express possibility. For example, Sagar could have left the money packet in the bus only. Shubhanji could have been working there as an IPS officer. Rahul could have brought his car today. G to express suggestion. For example, we could meet MLA to find solution for problems. She could check up at our hospital for free. You could bring your parents with you for the program. H for showing annoyance as somebody did not do something. For example, students could have informed me before being absent. She could have left the keys. You could have submitted your project in time. I emphasizing strongly on expressing of feeling. For example, if this noise persists I could go mad. If Raja doesn't win this election he could commit suicide. If I got my bag back I could give 1 crore rupees in reward. J to express what you need or would like to have. For example, after the meal I could do with some sweets. He could do with a cup of tea in the evening. For the post of a clerk we could do with a graduate candidate also. G may equals possibility permission. A to talk about possibility or uncertainty. For example, Sanu may get a job next year. We may open a petrol pump in couple of years. She may curse us if we trouble her. B admitting that something is true and introducing another point. For example, she may be providing good food but she is charging disproportionately. He may be a very clever boy but he has made disrespecting comments against his teacher. She may be minister's daughter but she has eloped with her driver. C to talk about permission. For example, may I come in? May we play here? May I use your bike? D to talk about polite way of making comments, asking questions. For example, if I may accept, you are so beautiful. If I may say, this is totally a wrong decision. If I may be wrong, this is a swordfish. E to express wishes and hopes or blessings. For example, may God bless you. May all your wishes come true. May you get what you want. F to talk about purpose of something. For example, Your father has invested a lot of money so that you may live a better life. Everyone is learning something or else so that one may use it for the betterment of one's life. Police have cordoned off the area so that thieves may be arrested. H might equals negligible possibility. A is a past of may. For example, she asked whether she might use my vehicle. They said they might go to temple. B to talk about possibility. For example, the manager will come now but he might leave soon. It might have rained during the match. She might bring some fruits for everyone. C to talk about permission with more politeness. For example, might we go now, sir? Might she join us tomorrow? I am having some work to do, might I come late? D asking for information. For example, when might the minister come? How might he treat us? Where might he have gone? E showing annoyed about something that somebody could do or could have done. For example, they might have told us about their marriage. I expect they might at least invite us for their marriage anniversary. Sir might have given us notes if he didn't want to teach. F might have and past participle has two meanings. When we don't get it clear whether the action was completed in the past or not. For example, I might have posted the letter. It means I do not know exactly whether I posted the letter. In the past there was possibility of completion of an action but an action was not completed. You might have lost that golden chance, but you didn't. I must equals compulsion / order / obligation. A to denote duty or obligation. For example, you must help your sister. They must study hard. B talking about something is necessary or very important or compulsion. For example, we must finish the work today. He must start a new topic today. You must switch off your mobiles. Students must pay the fine if found breaking the rules. Candidates must be disqualified if did a cheating. These are the days of examination you must study hard. See when the question is asked with must the affirmative answer takes must whereas negative answer it need not. For example, must he pay the fees tomorrow? Yes he must. Must he submit the form today? No he needn't. D used to denote strong advice or order. For example, you must stand in a queue. You must be honest. E talking that something is likely or logical. For example, he is not at office, he must be at home. Trees are lush green here, there must be water nearby. If your lawyer asks you question, you must answer them to the best of your knowledge. F for recommending that somebody does something because you think it is a good idea. For example, everyone must join Z Club, it facilitates life enrichment. Parents must spend at least 1 hour every day thinking the needs of the children. Boss must start the production of duckhardab mask as it is in huge demand now. G to tell that somebody may do something but you do not really want them to. For example, this has been gifted to me by my sweetheart if you must know. I am going into the heaven if you must be told. Can I park my vehicle in front of your home if you must? H must doesn't have any past tense but generally had to is used for that sense. For example, she said you must go to office. She said that you had to go to office. I telling people that something is so good or interesting that they should see, read, get it, etc. For example, Z Club is a must-join institute in the world. Black is a must-watch movie as it has supreme performances of all the actors. Full of lush green landscapes and adjacent to the Satpura mountain range, Dongaryawalia is a must-see place. J ought to equals moral compulsion / obligation. A to denote moral or social obligation. For example, you ought to keep quiet to maintain peace. Everyone ought to look after one's old parents. B. For saying what is right thing to do. For example, we ought to forgive if someone apologized. One ought to go to hospital if one's friend is admitted. Everyone ought to help the poor at least in their medical bill. C. To tell what you expect or would like to happen. For example, people ought to make logical decision. You ought to study as in next month you are going to face the exam. Students ought to pay the fees in stipulated time. D. To tell what you advise or recommend. For example, you ought to read this book many times. You ought to do exercise every day regularly. They ought to work sincerely to get a pay hike. K. Need equals necessity. L. Dare equals daring/challenge. M. Used to equals discontinued habit in past.